How I feel? Blessed. What I want?
Get back slow. I love the way she rock it. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty's no beginner. She's confident. I love the way she move it.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We enter the Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with a video where we're going to be reacting to Eugene's press conference from today after the Washington Commanders decide to trade away Chase Young and Montez Sweat. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 7,000 subscribers. So please hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and check out what Eugene had to say today. Alrighty now.
Chicago and Chase Young to San Francisco. You know, trading Montez was, you know, something that really tough decision, but something that we felt was in the best interest of the football team. We really appreciate everything Montez had did for us. A heck of a football player who came in and did some nice things and really fit well. But again, this football is a very difficult business, and a lot of things change and things happen. And so we made the decision. Really do appreciate everything that Montez did for us, and want to wish him the best in Chicago as he finishes up, you know, his opportunities there. As far as Chase is concerned, because the 49ers are on their bye week, you know, slowing the process down a little bit. I can't comment on that until it's done. So I'll be happy to talk about Montez or New England.
So with Montez, for a while there, it sounded like you guys wanted to try and extend him. And does this signal a shift in maybe thinking of how you want to try building the roster going forward, or what changed in that? Well,
I think again, when you look at some of the things that have happened for us this year, and in terms of growth and development, and looking at what's happening at the quarterback position, you know, we feel really good about.
What does the quarterback position have to do with this, Ron? I don't want to get too bad on him, okay? I'm not about to do too much, but I just want to know what does the quarterback position have to do with that? I'm gonna let you finish talking, but first of all, you still continue to talk about the growth and development of this team. I'm going to use the Detroit Lions as a perfect example. Detroit, first year under Dan Campbell, I believe 3-13. Second year under Dan Campbell, 7-10, 7-9, one of those where they were on the verge of potentially making the playoffs. They had a chance to make the playoffs last year, but came up short. Now they're 6-2. You see how that transpired? They're no longer talking about growth and development. They're ready to compete for championships. We're into year 4 with Ron Rivera, and we're talking about growth and development. Now, if he's talking specifically for Sam Howell, understandably so. However, you're still. Growth and development has been one of your main points with this whole entire team this year. And you shouldn't be still growing and developing. That's all I'm trying to say.
Who Sam is becoming for us, and again, looking at some of the things that are going on, and with the compensation we're getting for these players, you know, it's going to give us an opportunity to continue to build for the future and do things a little differently. So, yeah, there may be a little bit of a shift in terms of the paradigm and how we're going to construct things. You know, and been a lot of things that we have talked about. You know, it's been an interesting 10 days probably as far as those things are concerned.
And obviously when you trade two guys like this, I know you can't talk about Chase, but when you make these kind of moves, from the outside, people are going to look at like, oh, you're 3-5. They're getting rid of two of their, you know, better talents. Are they starting to, like lack of a better phrase, punt on the season? And so how would you address, and how would you?
No, what I would say is, you know, based on some of the things that we've seen and some of the growth and development we have, it's an opportunity to see what else we have. It's an opportunity to go out and, you know, win football games using different guys. And we feel that we have an opportunity to go out and play well. We look forward to seeing what some of these young guys can do. We do think that, you know, there's every opportunity in front of us. And, you know, I've gone through this before. In 2014, I went through the same thing. We were late in the season, and we put a bunch of young guys that we felt had the opportunity or deserved the opportunity and put them out on the field and ended up in the playoffs. You know, we won some games that gave us that chance. Do we have that opportunity? I think this is what this is. I think it's the same kind of an opportunity. we do feel strongly about the quarterback. It's something that, I talked about in the offseason. I've talked about through training camp. I've talked through the beginning of the season about the growth and development, and we're seeing it. And so we want to see what we have and see if we can win football games and put ourselves in that same position.
Now, that's one thing I will say, okay? I know we are sitting here at 3-5. A lot of us feel like the season's done, which all intents and purposes, it could be done. And you have no right, you have no wrongdoing in feeling that way, because how can we continue to stress the point, hey, the season's still alive, the season's still alive. You see you're one game out of a wild card spot, but then you lose to teams like New York and you lose to teams like Chicago. So if you feel like the season's over, no hard feelings, nothing wrong with that at all, because you have all right to feel that way. But honestly speaking, I'm going to be real 100% with you. I know a lot of us are over Ron Rivera, but what he just said right there is true. The season, we still have a chance, okay? Now, if you go out and lose to New England on Sunday, all this is done. But if you go out there and win, you're now tied, depending on what Falcons, Vikings, all of them do ahead of you, the Bucks and all them guys, you're one game out of the wild card spot. And who knows? Maybe this was a shot in the arm that these players needed. I'm more so talking about coaching, though, because to me the players necessarily weren't the problem. It's coaching, but maybe this is a shot into the arm to get everybody playing right. I don't know, and it also wouldn't surprise me if the defense plays better. Remember, we had a stretch where we was without Chase Young and Montez Sweat. And no, I'm not saying Casey Toohill, F.A. Obad. I'm not saying none of these guys are technically better as far as skill and potential, but they played together. They played within a system, and clearly these guys weren't, and maybe the defense would play better. And maybe this is the shot that they needed. And it would not surprise me at all if we come out versus New England looking better. Now, I will say I'm not going to get over the hills about holding a poor Mac Jones-led Patriots offense to like 15, 20 points, because I'm pretty sure that's where it's going to be. But it is going to be encouraging considering the fact that we continue week in and week out to put up 30-plus points. But we'll see. We'll see.
Ron, are those guys still here if you were able to beat Philly last week?
Well, again, that's something I'm not going to speculate about. What I'm going to talk about is where we are right now and again, what we're doing.
And then obviously you're consulting with Josh Harris during this process. What was that like to be working with ownership on on this deal?
Well, for the most part, the process, probably started about 10 days ago. Our front office fielded a few calls about some of our players. And when we talked about it, one of the things we talked about was gathering information and what potentials were for some of our guys. We talked about that. We talked about what the plan should be in terms of decisions being made. And then we did reach out to Mr. Harris. We had a nice conversation about that. We talked about our plans, basically. We talked about what the potential could be and what the compensation could be. And he liked the ideas. He agreed with the ideas. And so we were all aligned, everything from coaching to personnel to Mr. Harris. And with that, we went out and, the front office, they did the deals that they did yesterday.
Ron, were you actually able to say your goodbyes to Tez and Chase yesterday? And what were those? Because there's a human element, right?
Right, there's a human element, and it's always difficult to say goodbye. And so when you get those opportunities, you do. And as far as I'm concerned, that stuff stays private.
The message to the team, because, again, that human element.
Right.
Teammates, brothers with Tez and Chase.
Absolutely.
What was your message to the guys today?
Well, the biggest message more than anything else was, guys, it's always difficult when you say goodbye to guys that help you and help grow and develop together. But it's also part of the business. It's the business side of it, and that's never easy. And for us, the biggest thing more than anything else is this is creating some opportunities for some other guys. It's creating a different opportunity for us as a football team, and we've got to take and make the best of it.
Ron, how much did the maybe slower activity throughout the league yesterday open the door to getting multiple deals done as the hours kind of came down?
Well, I think maybe that did have something to do with it because I do know that that at one point that things were kind of just moving very slowly throughout.
You may not be able to answer this because it pertains to the person you can't really talk about, but it's not about the trade per se. There was a story last night that hinted at him not following game plans, him not being coachable, all those sorts of things. And I'm not asking about the veracity of that report. I'm just asking about kind of that getting out about a player, whether it's accurate or not, but people obviously felt it was the truth, and they said it, and it got out.
Right, and I'm not sure why it got out. That's probably a bigger question. Again, if you're not going to put your name to it, then please don't do it. It's not fair. It's not fair to the player. As far as those things are concerned, it's just not, I don't know, palatable. It's a tough thing, but that's not, as far as the direction we're heading and what we're doing. I think the biggest thing, that's not a driving force in what we're doing. What we're doing is we're doing what we feel is the paradigm shift of what we want to do. We feel we have a quarterback. We feel we have a guy going forward that, we have a chance to grow and become what we think we can. And to do so, you've got to be able to, afford the situation. And I think that's what's growing for us right now, is that we're putting ourselves in position to do those things. And it's not just saying we're going to build everything on offense, but it gives us a chance to spread it around and keep some of the guys that we want to keep, go after some of the guys we want to go after, and draft who we want to draft. And when you have, if we end up with the 5 picks within the top 100 or whatever that number is, that's pretty good for us going forward.
Now, I'll jump in and quickly say this about Chase Young. Watching him, I can say he is a relaxed player. He does take chances, take plays off. That's one thing I will say. Another thing is, I don't think Chase Young has moves. That's not to say he can't learn them. I don't think he's not coachable. I just think he mentally checked out of Washington. I am almost expecting him to take a leap when he gets to San Francisco. I'm expecting him to turn into that number 2 overall pick because it's a mental fresh start for him. I don't think he's a terrible player. I think he has some upside to it, but I feel like his time in Washington was done. I wasn't opposed to trading Chase Young. I was more so upset at the compensation we got for him because I feel like we could have got more based off of what he's going to turn into. You look back in 2 years, Chase Young turns into a beast, we're going to be like, we got fleeced. You look back and you turn into Chase Young looking like the same Chase Young wherever he may end up, whether that's San Francisco or whether that's wherever, then you'll be like, okay, we were probably right about getting a 3rd round pick for him. I personally don't think Chase Young is going to be bad. I think he's going to go ball wherever he goes, and that's perfectly fine. He just mentally checked out of Washington. That's what I personally think. I could be wrong, but I just think he didn't want to be here. And I said that in the offseason. A lot of people said that in the offseason. Bleeding Burgundy and Gold. Shout out to Jalen Morgan. He said that. And a lot of people were getting on his case about it. But it was true. You can kind of read players. We don't have to be no psychiatrist. You don't have to be no psychiatrist or whatever you call it to be able to read. We're human beings. We know how humans work. You can clearly tell he didn't want to be here. And I think he heard all the noise about him, and he mentally checked out. So it wouldn't surprise me if he went to San Francisco, but I really want to pause the video to answer, what the reporter said about people saying that he's not coachable and he took plays off. I don't think he's not coachable. I just think he didn't want to be here. He's going to be very coachable when he gets to San Francisco. As far as taking plays off, I can see that.
And you built this around 4 first-round defensive picks and a bunch of first-rounders. I just wonder how you feel about how that ended and the lack of success, lack of consistency, with that group.
I think that's a big part of it, but I think a lot of the lack of consistency too, has also been trying to find and develop that quarterback. I think that's a lot of the things that we've had to deal with. Is that if you can get to that point and you have your guy sooner, then maybe things turn out differently. But we never got to that point, and that was the hard thing. Was that and I know this franchise has been looking for quite some time, and for the first time, in a while, I think that guy might be here. I really do. And I mean, I just got done looking at a bunch of stuff from the analytics of football, and they're all pointing in the right direction as far as the quarterback is concerned.
Even after you re-signed Daron Payne, was there any part of you as you're watching Chase or Montez and both of them kind of develop and get back into it in the off season throughout training camp. Is there any part of you that's still sort of surprised by the outcome now?
Sorta. I mean, but again, that's speculation. I mean, I couldn't tell you what was going to happen after the draft. 4 seasons ago, I couldn't have told you what happened. In our second season, so I don't want to get into that. But for me, looking at where we are, the thing that I'm pleased about is that it really does feel like we may have found the quarterback.
And then just in stepping up for
that boy Ron was done with all of them, bro. He keep trying to talk about Sam Howell. He does not want to talk about Chase Young and Montez Sweat. He just want to keep throwing in Sam Howell. Look, we got a quarterback. We found a quarterback, which we did, I think so. But that he does not want to talk about Sam Howell. I mean, he does not want to talk about Montez Sweat or Chase Young. He like, please give me a New England question so we can stop talking about these two. Because truth be told, I didn't want neither one of them, and that's why they're gone. I wish he would just say that.
those guys. Have you had any conversation with Casey Toohill and James Smith-Williams?
Yes, for the most part, really just talk about opportunity and as well as some of the younger guys too that are going to get chances to step out on the field and play a little bit more as well. I think that's the thing that's exciting is really to find out where that is.
You talked about him a little bit earlier, but what did you learn, if anything, about working with Josh throughout this process?
I think working with Mr. Harris and again, the whole group of us coming together, talking about the plan and what we see and what the potential is, and listening to everybody's ideas, and then talking with Mr. Harris and answering his questions and listening to his points. We all really found that this is a deep thinker. I mean, this is a guy that really, as you bring stuff to him and he digests all that, he's really thoughtful, and it's something that doesn't happen quickly. There's no knee-jerk reaction to anything, and again, it was really kind of cool just listening to him in terms of hey, I like what you guys are talking about. I like the vision. So that's it's one of those things that if you bring the work to him, work's prepared, ready to go, it makes it an easier conversation, a better conversation.
Did anything he said stand out to you specifically?
I would say if there was anything was the excitement for the potential.
Potential of Sam or potential of what?
The potential of the team.
Because Richardson, Snyder, it was one person. This group's so large. Do you just talk to Josh in these situations, or do you talk to others?
This is about talking to Mr. Harris.
Gotcha. And then you've been doing this a long time. Does this position feel odd for you, trading guys away like that in season?
No, because again, my 36 years in the NFL, I've seen it happen before to teams that I've been coaching on, and as a head coach, we've done it before as well. And it does it seem odd? Yeah, it is odd because it doesn't happen a lot. But when you do it, it's because what you think is best for the team. I mean, that's why we did anything we do. It's we just think it's the best thing for us more so than anything else. And it's the hard part of it as well, because you see these young men and you see them grow and develop, and they do their best that they can for you, and you want to make sure they know that they've been appreciated. But sometimes the business of it steps up, and that's what this is. The business side of football has stepped in.
Patriots question for you. That staff is obvious.
There we go, shorty. I was waiting for a Patriots question. I know Ron happy because I am too.
Obviously known for its blitz packages, what it can do defensively. How do you get Sam ready for that?
Well, the biggest thing again is just what we've been doing is you watch tape, you go through the walkthroughs in practice. You go through practice, you come back, you watch the tape, you watch the corrections. And again, just trying to make sure we cover all the bases in terms of those things as to, hey, this is what they do. When they do this is how we want to be able to handle that. This is what your reads are. This is what the best decisions to make is this. I mean, we'll go over those things over and over and over. And, again, just trying to make sure, Sam is comfortable with everything that we do. And have some specific, checks for it or audibles or options for him to go to and use.
When you guys have a situation like, fourth and short, or, when you need to make a decision, I know obviously that would normally land on your plate, but with EB, his title, what he came in with, what's his involvement in that? Does he have the say on that, or does that stay on your plate?
Well, whether we go or not, it's typically my decision. I most certainly.
We know that. We know that, Ron. That's why we ain't been going for it when we should be going for it. Because you want to soften up on us, man. If you had that Riverboat Ron title and you still lived up to it, we probably would have beat Philly. We probably would have beat the Giants a couple years ago. Would have been a lot of predicaments would have been different if Riverboat Ron would have went for it.
You ask him, and we talk about it earlier in the week. We have a checklist that we go through before the game, and one of the questions on it is everything from fourth down calls to whether we go for two or not. What are the plays that he has set up for those twos, those go for twos, or for the fourth down situations. What he feels is the best pass option and what he thinks is the best run option. And we discuss those things. One thing that we also do is if we get into third down situations and we're at the right spot on the field, I will typically tell him, hey, you've got 2 downs. And in those 2 downs, the idea now knows that you don't have to get it all at once, but if you can get it as close as you can, and, hey, we'll go for it again on the fourth down. So we try to make sure those things have been already discussed before we get to those situations.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because do y'all remember there was a play in the last game where we had to call a timeout prior to us going for it. I want to say on fourth down we had to call a timeout, and that put us down to 2 timeouts. I believe, was this in the second half or first half? I can't remember clearly, but I know we had to burn a timeout to then go out there and go for it. Again, if you know you have 2 downs, you should have 2 plays ready to go so you don't get to the point where you have to burn a timeout, because those timeouts, especially if it was in the second half, that is crucial. First half timeouts, you don't really care for them, but the second half timeouts, you want to take care of them. So I don't necessarily know if I agree with that, but if Ron is saying it, okay.
How do you decide that yesterday was the right time to trade them instead of saying, hey, if they walk, we get a comp pick, or maybe we get tag and trade? How do you decide that yesterday is the right?
Well, I think when you look at what the options were and what the opportunities were in terms of the value, and that's where Eugene Chen comes in, is being able to talk about what the potential value is. Those things all came into play.
Now, I'm curious to see what Eugene Chen had to do with this. I don't know if we're ever going to get what did he have in this role of trading Chase Young and Montez, because he's the analytical guy. Okay, that's one. Secondly, wasn't he supposed to start like November 6th or something? I don't know. But I'm curious to see what he had to do in this specific deal, because an analytical guy, was it like analytics shows if he trades him to the 49ers, like that, then he'll get a third round. I don't know what Eugene Chen had to do with these trades. I would love to hear about it. Now, with that said, from Ron Rivera, more of the story, I ain't gonna lie to you, it's basically just like, hey, look, we traded him, and that's what it is. I mean, I could clearly tell Ron Rivera was tired of getting asked about him, because, I mean, he just kind of kept repeating himself and then trying to switch to Sam Howell. Again, guys, I know some of us don't necessarily disagree with trading them. We were more so upset with the compensation, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We can't sit up here and cry over spilled milk and act like these guys were TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, and all these guys. They were okay, solid guys, but they never really reached their potential, specifically Chase Young. So, again, if they go ball, great. We now have cap space out, next year to go get some edge rushers in free agency. Brian Burns. I'm looking at B. Burns like, what's good? You know what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and take a few callers before we get out of here. A few guys and girls called into the show, pissed about the trade yesterday. So let's go ahead and see what they had to say.
Yo, it's your boy Tap, PSN Command.
It's good, Pro Tap.
Hey, look, man. The trade for Tiz and Chase, man. The Tiz trade, I think it was fair. I'm not even going to hold you. I'll give it a B+. I give it a trade grade. The Chase Young, give it a C-. Not adequate value, but anyone be here, so it is what it is, man. Shout out to all y'all, man. Shout out to that one guy, the gang, man. Sky!
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for the Montez Sweat trade, I feel like a second round pick is cool. All right, I'm not mad at that. The Chase Young one, I'm more so feeling like we could have got more because of, again, what he is going to turn into for the 49ers or whoever he goes to. Now, if we look back in 2 years from now and he's still the same Chase Young here, all right, cool. But then again, we're getting a compensatory third-round pick. And show of hands, who thinks the 49ers are still going to be on a terrible losing streak? Exactly. Nobody's hand is raised. People, like, if you watch football, you know they're going to turn it around at some point. So it's not like that compensatory third-round pick is going to be something really good. That's basically a fourth-round pick. So, again, it is what it is. But a C for that trade, I'm not mad at that.
Yo, what up? It's Swavey from the 503, Portland, Oregon, calling in. Just reacting to the Chase Young and Montez Sweat trade. I 100% agree that moving on from both of them was the right move for the future of the franchise going forward, and I think we need to start over with new coaching staff and a new draft class and just move towards the future and forget about the past. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of turnover in the offseason, even with guys like Kendall Fuller that we expect to be back, but honestly, I'm with moving everybody. I'm ready to rebuild and just start with a new coach. All right, hail the Commanders.
Appreciate your call from Oregon. That's what's up. I ain't know nobody was listening from Portland, Oregon. Appreciate it, my guy. Again, not really necessarily would say people are expecting Kendall Fuller to be back. I think we're more so wanting him back. At least I do. I think Kendall Fuller's a dang good player. But I mean, a lot of these guys, as you mentioned, with new regime, it's not starting over if, it's about when, because it's going to happen. Ron Rivera is going to get fired, and new coaching is going to come in here. And a lot of guys that we're attached to, the Kendall Fullers, the Antonio Gibsons, Sadiq Charles is the word. These guys that are on expiring contracts probably won't be here. So, I mean, turnover. I know you said you're wanting a rebuild. I personally would look at it as a reload because I feel like we're talented enough now that we have a quarterback where we don't necessarily need to do a full-blown rebuild. We got a lot of cap space, as I mentioned before, and we're going to have a ton of picks. So we can expedite this rebuild by having a hell of an offseason this year. So I appreciate you calling from Portland. Thank you so much, my guy.
FLEECED. Fleeced. We got fucking fleeced. We just gave the Niners fucking Nick Bosa's fucking college. Bruh, I'm so baffled right now, dog. Montez Sweat going to the Bears, and I'm shitty about that, bruh, because I ain't gonna lie, bruh. I got a lot of love for Sweat, bruh. I ain't got as much love for Young as Sweat, bro, because Sweat really been putting in work, bro. He went through that shit with his brother, all that shit, for y'all to send him to the Bears? You better send my man Sweat to the Niners, bro. Chase Young don't deserve to win like Sweat, bro. And I ain't even being a hater or nothing, bro. That's the truth, bro. Sweat put in way. Any real Commander fan know that Sweat put in way more work than Chase Young with his simple ass bull rush move every single time. Period, bro. I'm excited to see Obata, bro. A lot of people don't sleep on Obata, but Obata, man, let me tell you something. I think in 3 games last year, he had 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss. He got a great relationship with Deron Payne. Jonathan Allen. I'm excited to see who's going to step up, man, but my question for you is, are we tanking? Is this what it's looking like, or what's going on? Because this shit don't seem right no more, bro. It seems like we giving up. I know Ron's gone. Ron Rivera gone. Honestly, bro, get rid of the enemy. That's a one and done. To be honest, bro, I think it's time. Man, look, call me crazy. Josh McDaniels got fired this week. We hire McDaniels as the OC. Maybe move the enemy up to head coach. Maybe. I don't know how I feel about it, or we just clean house, but got to do something soon, man, if we want to win. But I don't see this team trying to actually win a football game. So, shit, maybe I'm just talking shit, bro. I don't know why I get my hopes up for this shit, man. You be smooth, man. God bless you.
Appreciate that call, man. We all get our hopes up for this team. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I don't want no parts of Josh McDaniels. Now, Eric Bieniemy very well could have been a one-year experiment. But where I'm at with EB right now is I would honestly prefer us to get a new head coach and allow EB to obtain his offensive coordinator position because he signed a 2-year deal. Okay, just get a head coach in here. Allow EB to be the offensive coordinator for next year because I don't want Sam Howell to have to learn another system, and I really, really don't. Now, if EB, goes on a tear, and for the rest of this year the offense is looking lights out, I think he may get that head coaching job here. He might. But for the safe part, I would go get a new head coach, whoever that may be, and allow EB, and it's totally up to the new regime. The new regime could totally move on from Eric Bieniemy regardless. But I would like to keep EB as the offensive coordinator if things continue to, go in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? But if it goes to like a total next level direction and we somehow make it to the playoffs, he got to be the head coach. I mean, come on now, because you're going to make it to the playoffs on the back of Sam Howell, not this defense. So it's clearly him and EB. So I don't want Josh McDaniels. As far as Montez Sweat, you know what? I agree. You should have sent Chase Young to Chicago, let him suffer. Montez Sweat deserved to go to Santa Clara to compete for an NFC championship in the Super Bowl. You dang right about that. Montez Sweat was the guy that we all wanted back. Okay, we wanted him back, and I thought at the beginning of the year that's who the guy that they wanted back. But when they didn't see the consistency from these guys, I knew their time was up. I didn't think both of them were going to get traded. I was just talking game when I said that, but they both got shut down Sunday. Anytime these guys face competition, and that's what a lot of people got to realize and stop being so attached to. When they face competition, you hear shh, you hear church mouses. Neither one of these guys were able to consistently win battles against prolific tackles and guards. So we got to find a way to get these young guys that's coming up in free agency or the draft that can actually win against good talent. Again, I keep eyeing Brian Burns. I believe Brian Burns is gonna be a free agent after this year. I believe so. It's a lot of other edge rushers that's gonna be in this class coming up. Okay, so again, I would prefer to have Montez Sweat sent to San Francisco, but it is what it is. We would not have got a second round pick for Montez Sweat more likely than not, and we sent him to Chicago because they offered the highest deal. So with that being said, man, I appreciate the call. Now let's go to the final caller of the day.
What's up, Juan Gotti? This your boy Alonte, a.k.a. Young Rat. I just want to come on here and offer some encouraging words to the Washington Commander faithful. I know things are looking kind of dreadful right now because of the trade and our record. But remember, we got a new ownership, and everything will be okay. Left hand up always. Yeah, my guy, it's okay. Peace.
Yes, sir. Shout out to my guy Alonte, always holding down, always showing support to you. But make sure y'all hit that subscribe button. But encouraging words, yeah, we got new ownership. And Josh Hurst is not attached to none of these guys. And he's the one that paid for this team. So quite frankly, he can do whatever he wants. And he probably looked at both of these guys like, I ain't about to cut no checks for these guys. Remember when Ron Rivera first got here and we were attached to Quentin Dunbar and Morgan Moses and we wanted them guys back, and he came and cleaned house because he didn't know those guys from a can of paint? This is what Josh Hurst is doing, and Josh Hurst has all right because he paid $6.5 billion for this team. So like my guy Alonte said, I know we may be heated in a moment, but relax. And more importantly, the season ain't over. We got a game versus New England that's very winnable this Sunday. So let's focus on that and turn the page on this. Now, I want to end this video right here. I know it was a long one, but I hope you guys stay tuned for all of that and watch it all the way through because we had the reaction from Ron Rivera and then a couple of callers. So I hope you guys stay through for all that. As always, me and boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, subscribe. Hails to the Washington Commanders. We're on the road to 7,000 subscribers. Please hit that subscribe button again if you haven't already. Thank you so much. See y'all later. I'm out. Peace.